Welcome back to Melly Loves Death Metal. What's playing in the background is the new Evoken album that just came out this past Friday. How the hell do you say this again? Mendacium, I think? I don't know. Jim and Kellen did a really awesome review over on Heavy Metallurgy. I'll link in the description. Go check that out. I am still digesting this album. I've listened to it 3 times now since I got this CD on Friday. And it's Evoken. I mean, you know, if you're familiar with the band, you know, like, these albums, there's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of ear worms that you gotta go through, and it's funeral death doom, so it's a challenging listen sometimes, and it takes patience. So, but I am enjoying what I've heard so far. There is moments on this that make me just go, wow, that's just so crushingly heavy, and wow, that's just so beautiful, and wow, like this part. So good. So yeah, I'm still digesting it, but from what I'm hearing, I really enjoy it, and Evoken is just such a legendary band. There's not a single album by them that they put out that I don't like. So there are some that I listen to more than others, but yeah, this one is definitely scratching that itch for the funeral death doom, the death doom realm that I tend to get into around this time of year for whatever reason. And I know a lot of people say this when it starts to get a little bit into spooky season, in the holidays and colder weather. This is generally the death metal that I start to listen to a lot. So this came out at the perfect time. So on that note, I decided I'm going to show off 3 releases today and talk about them, about probably bands that you might not be as familiar with in this genre of music, this funeral / death doom genre music. 2 of the albums I've had for a while now, ever since they came out. I never showed or talked about them on the channel for some reason. I'm not too sure why. And one just came out. It's a brand new release that I love and enjoy. So, but yeah. So funeral death doom is a very niche thing within the genre. Like I said, it takes a lot of patience to listen to, and not everybody's into it. But I think that these are varied enough to where I can get new listeners in and get people to want to check out more by them, because they're not as funerally, I guess you could say. It's not Evoken, and it's not like there are slow moments, but definitely much more death metal, and one of them has black metal too. So the first one I want to talk about is Oromet, or I think that's how you say their name, Oromet, a US funeral doom metal band. This came out, it's their self-titled full length that came out in 2023 on Transylvanian Recordings. Like I said, I bought this when it came out, and I never talked about it, and I don't know why, because this is just simply a phenomenal album. And don't be scared by the term funeral death doom, because yes, while there's very slow, at times, funeral moments on here, there's so much epicness on it, and that is just so good. Is this too loud? Turn it down just a little bit more. But they have a new album coming out called The Sinking Isle. I believe it comes out next month. Yes, November 7th is the official release date for it. So the pre-orders are up. I got the promo. I've been listening to it, and I immediately went back to this, and I've been playing this ever since that came out and was announced. So if you're not familiar with this band, like I said, this is their first full-length band. From what I know, they're a 2-piece, and one of the members is from Battle Hag, which I've talked about on here, another awesome doom band, and then Feral Season, which is another really great band. This, I believe, is still available on Transylvanian Recordings, and there might be other formats too, I'm pretty sure. But just, yeah, I got a lot of things to say about this, so let me get into it. But first, I'll show you off the J card. It comes with lyrics, which is nice. It's only 3 tracks. So it's 3 tracks, 43 minutes long. The first track is 21 minutes long, but trust me, you get so immersed and so captivated by this, it goes quick. It's not like a dragging listen where it makes you just be like, ugh, I'm so bored. It definitely, like I said, has those slower moments, but it's again, captivating is probably one of the best words to describe this music. The second track is 11 minutes long, and the third track is 10 minutes long. So the first track is really what you have to digest because it's so long. But for the most part, I pretty much stumbled upon this band late night one night. I remember I was just scrolling Bandcamp and trying to find some new music. I was in the mood for this style of music, and I generally go to Transylvania Recordings because James releases a lot of stuff that I've never heard before, and it had been a while since I bought anything from him, and I saw this, and I immediately thought, okay, that's either doom metal or like dungeon synth, which he doesn't release dungeon synth. So I was right. It's doom metal, doom death metal, and with the funeral doom elements into it. It's basically, yeah, you got to be patient at times because again, there's build up in the songs, but there's like a strange serenity to it. It's like it makes me feel like I'm standing in a cathedral that has essentially crumbled, and there's like, a hole in the ceiling and a light is coming through, and that light is the music that I'm listening to, because there's definitely a much, I wouldn't say like a brighter tone to it, but definitely not as a darker tone as you would expect from a funeral doom metal album. Every note that they play just feels very well thought out, very well considered. The guitars are phenomenal. There's so many sections in here that just is a straight up riff fest, and just such great guitar riffs and leads, and drums are just so phenomenal. And then they have synths as well that just really go well. It's not too synthy. Sometimes these funeral doom bands get way too synthy, and they kind of like go off the rails with that, and it gets all like just too much. This is the right amount. But yeah, it again starts with that over 20-minute track called Familiar Spirits. It's a monster, and it's a slow evolution. It's got the build-ups, but it starts very distant, and it's got a very hesitant melody, not medley, and it gradually builds into something that's just really massive and very like epic and soul crushing, and for that reason the song is so good. And then it fades out, and it's just very like atmospheric, and it fades out into the next track. It is slow, but again, it builds up into that epic moment. The second track, Diluvium, I think is how you say it, probably my favorite track on the album. Much as I really love the epicness of the first track, this really gets you into the tone the moment it's like storm finally has hit. Like we're finally there, and we're heavy, and we're crushing, and the vocals are just very like guttural, and like there's grief in them, I guess you could say. But the guitars just keep pommeling and pushing upward, and like, yeah, it's just a phenomenal track. And then the final track, App and Glow, has a little bit more of an uplifting sound on it, but not like in a cheerful way, but in a sense that it's like a calm that comes after all of this epic like storm and just sheer crushingness. It's almost like you're taking an emotional like exhale, because you've been holding your breath for so long listening to this album. But this album is so complete feeling. It's the fact that it's only 3 tracks, like you don't think that's only 3 tracks. Like it's a journey that you're listening to. You can hear like every texture and every like just production like thought that goes into it. It's a very, very great, very good production. It's hard to compare them a little bit to other bands, I would say. I mean, they're similar to Bellwitch in a sense for the most part, I guess, and maybe Mournful Congregation, but they're very much in a more melodic tone. That's a good way of saying it. They're in a more melodic tone and cinematic approach. But yeah, it's phenomenal. And I can't believe I've never talked about it on here. So I'm very excited for the second album to come out. So go listen to it, judge for yourself. But here's a little bit of a sound clip for you. The next album, again, is probably a band that maybe not a lot of people are familiar with. I'm going to completely butcher the name of it, of the band name, because they're from Sweden. I don't speak Swedish. Gravkvade, I think is how you say the name, and this is Prologue. This also came out on Transylvania Recordings, and I believe I probably bought this at least within a week or two after it was announced. It came out last year, and it's actually their fourth full-length album. I have their first two, I believe. I should have pulled them. They're all in Swedish, so like, and they all look the same. But I became a fan of them back in like 2000. Oh no, their last two albums. So I have the one that came out in 2022, and then 2020 was where I learned about them, which was Grav Ruin. That was also put out on Transylvania Recordings, which is where I initially heard them, and I was obsessed with that album. I know I showed that off on here when I did Transylvania Recordings like Spotlight a long time ago, like way back into the Melody Loves Death Metal archives. So they're back now with this new album, and I bought it and did not give it the time of day. I may have listened to it once and then put it on my cassette shelf, which is just so depressing that I did that, because now I've taken it off and I've re-listened to this several times the last couple of weeks, ever since I started getting into the mood of this style of music. So here's the J card. As always, I always show off the physical media and lyrics on the other side. This is a blackened funeral death doom band. So yeah, there's a lot of black metal elements into it. I would say the funeralness is not as prominent on this album as past ones. It's still definitely there, to a point, but much more of a faster tempo at times, and much more black metal is in this. Again, a lot more things I gotta say about this. Again, just a very emotive and sorrowful and sad sounding, just soul crushing funeral doom style of soaked blackened death doom. Like, that's the best way. There is like a weight to it. Yes, the guitars do drag at times. Like, basically it's just a shovel dragging you. That's how I feel at times. But when it gets into the extreme point, like, it'll be crawling, and then one minute it goes into like a burst wave of just black metal fury. Those moments are just like, oh fuck yeah, that sounds so good, and it just like immediately hooks you in. I can't pronounce any of the track names because, again, they're all in a different language, but from the moment the first track starts to the final track, and the fourth track, Main, I think is how you say it, is just instrumental. It's got synths in there. It's not very long, but it's a nice little transition track into the final track. But yeah, every single song stands out on its own, has its moments that you just absolutely love. And again, that black metal added into this, I think, just gives it such a unique sound that I'm generally not used to listening to when I listen to this style of death metal music. But yeah, the ambient track is very good. That's what I meant to say. It's an ambient track. It is very good, and I really enjoy it. But it's not overdone. It doesn't go on for, like I said, like, just forever. I mean, the track is only 1 minute and 33 seconds long. The longest track on here is 8 minutes and 59 seconds, which is the second track. I can't even pronounce it. But again, it's a 27-minute long listen, so that kind of borderlines on, is this really a full-length album if you want to talk to some people, but they're calling it, so that's what I'm going to call it too. But the production is great. There has been more of a raw sounding production on past albums. With this one, it seems like it's got a little bit more of a cleaner sound to it. Definitely still has like that raw atmosphere at time, but there's just like, yeah, it's just pure desolation, like, it with a purpose, and you can tell that it wasn't written to like fit a mold in the genre at all. Like, to me, I believe they stand out in a league of their own with this album. Again, very unique band. I really enjoy the last couple albums that I've heard by them. I think this probably is their best output so far. And it would be awesome to see more people talking about them, because I definitely think that they deserve that praise got it again. It is a very, very good listen. So Gravkvade, I think is how you say that. I looked up the pronunciation and I still can't do it. Prologue, check it out. And then finally, the last album I want to talk about is a new release that just came out. I don't remember when it came out. It was like last week, I think. Well, technically it came out September 26th, but I think the physical media started shipping not too long ago. This is Liminal Erosion in the Time Vulture's Talons. This came out on Iron Fortress Records, and a little bit of a background on this. First ever full-length album. No other music aside from a single has been released, and this is Mike Colby from Warflurch and Plasmodulated, and he has another band that I am forgetting about. God damn it, I can't remember it now. Maybe it'll say Antagonizer. He's also been in Hot Graves, and yeah, but he's most notably known for Plasmodulated, which is another phenomenal release, and Warflurch. This is his new project now, a funeral doom metal project that is simply phenomenal. I think this is some of the best stuff that he has ever put out. The guy is just a really talented musician. He's got a very creative mind, and he just expresses that in the music that he writes. He can go from writing like really like just meat and potatoes stomping death metal to now writing an album like this that is very again captivating. It's a journey, and it feels like a time warp in space at times. It's got the slower doomy elements to it. There's definitely that funeral doom side of it, especially when he has the synthesizers and it makes you feel like you're in a graveyard. It starts that out that way, but then it just is pummeling. His low guttural vocals are so good. Everything just fits so well together. It's such a very well written album. I was shocked, I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard this, when I found out that that's who it was. I was like, wow, like, because just knowing the past bands that he's been in, this is by far one of his like more well thought out, more creative aspects that he has put out in the scene. I love the artwork. The artwork was done by Gruesome Graphics, as well as the logo, who also did my artwork. So, and I think it just fits perfectly. I mean, it fits perfectly, and I love the like little like alter ego he has built with this project, where he's got the mask. But yeah, he's a phenomenal musician. He does everything on here. He does guitars, drums, vocals, synthesizers, just everything on here is so creative and good. And it's got moments where I feel like it reminds me of like Worm, when Worm first started doing first couple of albums, not the newer stuff, but the older stuff. Like at times I felt like I was listening to that. Like you can definitely hear a lot of the influences that he has in his songwriting. This again is a pretty quick listen. It's 36 minutes long, 4 tracks. And I really just love how he incorporates the ambience into each track. I know that he loves playing like with the synths and stuff like that. Like I know that from like live streaming he's done on Instagram, and just, you know, having known Mike in the scene for a while now. So he incorporates that really, really well into this album. Again, I was just blown away by this. I was so happy. I like shot him a message and told him like, hey, like I'm such a huge fan of this album. I'm gonna get it on CD too. I if this ever got pressed on vinyl, I'd be so stoked, because it would be awesome to have on vinyl too. But yeah, definitely check this out, especially if you're a fan of Mike and the work that he's done just in the underground death metal scene as a whole. Great guy, and just like I said, super talented. So Liminal Erosion on Iron Fortress Records. So that's all that I have today. I figured I would, get in the mood for spooky season with the black metal video yesterday, and then today this video, and you're going to see a little bit more of a darker atmosphere of what I talk about in terms of music lately, because I've got a lot of blackened death metal that I've also been buying, and a lot of it's going to be coming in, well, a couple of albums, not a lot, not like 20 albums, like just a couple of things that I've been buying here and there after listening to them finally. So, but yeah, that's all I have. Let me know in the comments if you checked out any of these albums and purchased them or liked them, and also suggest any other Death Doom, Funeral Death Doom albums that may have come out this year that are new, that need to be on my radar. Like, yes, I know about Evoken. You don't need to tell me about Evoken. Yes, I know about Dead Congregation and Mournful Congregation, all that stuff. So anything that's like maybe new that I missed this year. And I'll see you in the next one.